Hey, what's going on, everyone? I hope all of you guys are doing well. So, I just got done watching Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and I figured I would go ahead and do a review for you guys. This movie is such a great sequel and such a great film in general. The cast is great. You have the likes of Robert Patrick, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Edward Furlong, and Linda Hamilton. So the story or the plot for this film is that this takes so many years after the events of the first film. John is put in foster care. Sarah is in a psychiatric, uh, facility due to trying to basically. I'm trying to term it so I don't get in trouble with YouTube, but she tried to do something to a computer factory, which eventually caused her to be put in a psychiatric facility and caused John to be part of this foster family. And of course, we have two Terminators sent back in time. We have Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator to protect John, who was actually sent by John in the future. And then we have Robert Patrick's Terminator, who is basically a new Terminator type, who is basically, in better terms, liquid metal. And while, Robert Patrick's, Terminator tries to go after John, of course, Arnold's Terminator is there to protect him. And then, of course, they got to save Sarah as well. And, throughout the film, it's basically them trying to escape Robert Patrick's Terminator and what is it, the T-1000, and basically try to stop him from getting John. Of course, they have to get the artifacts, or not artifacts, but the leftover remains from the previous Terminator from the first movie, because we do find out that whatever was left was taken, and we kind of get where the origin of Skynet kind of comes into play, and they try to they got to take what was left in order to prevent Judgment Day, basically. And yeah, it's just a really fun movie. I do like the fact that we do get a little bit of an explanation of why Sarah's in this psychiatric situation facility. I do like the fact that we get some recognizable faces. A great example would be the kid from Salute Your Shorts is in this. He plays John's friend, and we do get a lot of references of some sort to the first film, which I do like. It was a nice tie-in there, which a lot of films, give or take, tend to do. Others not so much. Um, but I think the action's great. I think the story is fantastic, and it did, to me, definitely still holds up. Yes, some of the effects are a little outdated, but the effects that we got at this time, you get to have more of an appreciation for it, because at that time that was something new we had never seen, to some extent. Of course, the Abyss, that's kind of where we got the similarities of the T-1000 in some form, but yeah, I just feel like it's still one of those all-time greatest sequels. Um, Now, I will say the Blu-ray here, I thought it looked really good. Now, there's been talks about the Blu-ray release not being great. Even the 4K transfer is not great. It looked clean, but yes, there were some scenes that were not so great. A great example is when Arnold makes it to at that time, the present day, and the way the ground is kind of caved in looked great. But when you see part of the truck that was destroyed, it looks awful. I'm going to be honest, it looks really, really awful. But other than that, and other than a few scenes here and there, I think everything looked pretty great. Excuse me. And considering I have a 4K player, I think everything looked really clean and sharp, to some extent. So yeah, to me, I thought it was a decent transfer for what it is. Yeah, could it be improved on? Absolutely. But yeah, I wish I could say more about this movie. I mean, we have technically all seen it. You do get like three different versions of the film on the disc. There's like the theatrical, extended, and then I believe there's another release of the film. But nonetheless, I've always enjoyed this sequel. It's pretty much on the top 25 films of all time that I like. It kind of changes. Sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 25, but it's definitely on that list for so many reasons. Just a great follow up to the original, but it also stands on its own. It doesn't have to rely so much on the first film, which I do like, because a lot of sequels sometimes they don't go all that great and they rely heavily on the first film. But this, I thought, worked really, really well, and the casting choice was great. I mean, we've all seen this. We all have great things to say about it. And yeah, nonetheless, my only minor complaint is that the special features, and I know they're not on. I don't think they're on this, but I think they're on like the standard Blu-ray because it's like a two-disc set where I think one disc is all the bonus features. My only minor complaint is I really felt like they should have kept in the scenes with Michael Biehn's character because he actually did end up returning for small little cameos. In in I think one or two deleted scenes, when Sarah is in her room at the psychiatric facility, she starts to vision, and I wouldn't say dream, but it's more like a vision of Kyle Reese. And I just feel like they should have kept those in to some extent. I feel like it would have fit perfectly. I get why they took it out, due to probably running time issues and probably just May at the time didn't think it fit, but I thought it fit perfectly, or at least it would have. But it's understandable that they took them out. Um, and one thing I wish there was a little bit more was just having more information on this, on the war itself and the on Skynet and things like that. I know each film kind of explores Skynet a little bit more, but I felt like we could have done a little bit more I think we could add more backstory other than what Arnold's Terminator gave us in the film, but that's just me. And I really feel like, the character of, oh my God, I can't think of his name, but he's the one that kind of ends up creating, Skynet, creating the program and everything. I can't remember his name. Um, but I feel like his character should have survived. I feel like his character could have played a big part in the rest of this film, other than, you know, them going into the facility where the old Terminator hand is and the half broken chip. Because I felt like since they did go on to do a third film, you know, I feel like they could have had him come back, and there could have been something they could have done. But to me personally, after this, the others don't exist. I have seen all of them. Yes, I do like certain ones specifically, but if I'm going to be quite honest with you, I can just deal with having the first two. Unfortunately, I do not have the first movie on Blu-ray, just the second one. But nonetheless, if you're going to get into the Terminator franchise, you just need the two, because that's really where it was supposed to end. Now, I will state this also on the special features, you do get a alternate scene. And I feel like that alternate scene should have showed up right after the ending of this, when you kind of have like the glimpse of just the road and Sarah's narration. I think after that, that's when the alternate ending should have happened. They should have added that into it, like almost like maybe a continuation to the ending or like a post-credit scene. For those who aren't familiar with the alternate ending, it's basically, we see Sarah, and John in the future. John's a father, he's at the park with his child and Sarah's there. And I thought that fit perfectly. They prevented everything that was going on and they were able to move on with their lives. And of course, because it did so well, most films they call, as we consider, a cash grab, where we get unwanted sequels that nobody really wants. And you would think after the ongoing box office flops, they would stop. But no, they keep going. I will state this though. The one Terminator film, I think they did. I don't think it did too well, but I think if you go back, you kind of have to give it a little bit more credit. Is Terminator Salvation, because Terminator Salvation, to be quite honest with you guys, is more of a prequel than anything. I mean, we have a character that's not John Connor. We have a character who finds out he became a Terminator. We kind of get the backstory on how the Terminators are able to pass, looking like they're human. We get, the film focused on the war between the humans and the machines. And I like that. And I think that could have worked well as a TV series. And then, of course, we have the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which is kind of a gap filler. It's more of it's supposed to take place in the same universe as the Terminator films. It's supposed to be the gap between the ending of Terminator 2 and the beginning, right before like the event. No, was it supposed to be like before the event of Terminator 3? Yeah. So, yeah. And we get like a female Terminator. Like, there's so many things going on. But the series was really high praised at the time, but it ended up getting canceled. And I think it got canceled due to, at that time, the writer's strike that was going on, because shows like Reaper, I think, was on at the same time. And when they had the strike going on, a lot of shows were canceled, like Terminator and Reaper and a few others. But yeah, nonetheless, Terminator 2, just all in all, is just a fun sequel, great action film. And I'm really, really glad that we ended up getting a sequel to Terminator. I mean, Terminator can stand on its own by itself, and that's what I like about the first two. Yes, they are part of a franchise. Yes, Terminator 2 Judgment Day is a sequel, but but Terminator itself can work fine as a standalone film. Terminator 2 can work fine as a standalone film. And that's what I like. Yes, you do connect the films together, but you don't have to rely heavily on the original with the sequel, like I stated before. So, yeah, don't want to make this video too long. I think I've said enough on what I feel, about the sequel, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. If you guys have seen this movie, I would love to hear your opinion on it. But I think at this moment, I think at this, we've all seen it. Everybody, probably agrees on the same thing that others feel. But nonetheless, I would still love to hear your opinion. Definitely give this video a like. It's much appreciated, and it keeps me going. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more, videos if you guys are interested. We're getting close to I'm getting close to my first 1,000 watch hours. I think I'm at like 913, 915 or something like that. I don't know 100%. It might be 907 maybe. Might be a little off. But yeah, it's slowly, the channel's building, and you guys don't have to, but I am doing a GoFundMe to kind of try to get back on my feet. It's mostly just trying to get my vehicle paid off and get it fixed so I can try to get back on my feet, because that is right now I'm still waiting on Social Security disability. Hopefully soon. Well, we shall see. But in the meantime, I've kind of been, doing as much as I can, and yeah, and with my videos, I am taking a day off. I just want to put that out. So if there's going to be one day at least. I might move to just having the weekends off and give you guys a video Monday through Friday. There is that possibility. We'll see what happens. But I think that might be it. I should have 2 unboxings coming this week. So keep an eye out on that. I had some eBay funds. And I'm trying to figure out what else is going on. I think that might be it. I think I'm just gonna, do what I can on, watching some movies and getting some reviews out. Might take a little break from the wrestling, since there's not really anything that's kind of interesting going on. So I might just use that time to watch some movies. We shall see how things go. But yeah, like I said, if you guys would like to donate to my GoFundMe, you can. I'm not expecting people to. Um, if I lose my car, to be quite honest with you, it's not going to hurt. I've already lost so much. Um, and yeah, I figured it wouldn't hurt. I don't have much to lose. But nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Don't forget to do all the cool stuff. And until next time, guys, I'm Film Talk with Mikey, and we'll talk films. Peace.